Hello, and it's Denise Shad from Your Energy Awakening and Denise Shad Art. And today I'm here to share with you a little bit out of my book called Spirit Speaks. And I'm reading from page 67. And I can never get full, and I am not enough. My capacity to love is endless, yet I fear that I am not enough of anything. My experience with my mother began as a lack of nurturance and abandonment. And what I have learned from working with therapists and energy healers, my mother was stressed during my infancy. Her mother didn't raise her. She was brought up by her sisters. She was unable to, nor had a desire to meet my needs as a mother should. One of my first male teachers, Chris, an intuitive psychologist, asked me, "Why did you choose your parents?" And at the time, it was the craziest thing I'd ever heard. But I knew at that moment that I had chosen my parents. I chose the perfect parents not to love and nurture me. Part of my experience in this lifetime has been to turn inwards towards my inner being for love. If I had had the perfect mother, I wouldn't have kept searching for the connection to my innermost being. By age 5, my life became all about my mother's happiness. I felt everything my mother was going through. I wasn't able to just live like a little girl. I always felt not enough. And as I grew older, I lived in a constant state of fear that something was wrong with me. My life felt empty and I felt lost. I couldn't figure out where I belonged or how to belong. I was constantly referencing others to understand how I was to feel and act. I gave away my power to my mother's well-being, all the while ignoring my sense of self. I often felt like a victim, and later learned I took on my mother's feelings of victimhood. All I wanted was to be enough for my mother, so she would be happy. If I could make her happy, it would be safe for me. I felt like I was always fighting for my happiness. I always ended up feeling like an abandoned, abused child. I learned from reading Stephen Kessler's book, The 5 Personality Patterns, Barbara Brennan's book, Light Emerging, and Regina Stribling from the Labyrinth of Illumination Healing, that I gave my whole self to others. Joining my energy with others to relate to them would entangle me in their dramatic affairs. By merging my power with them, I felt what others were feeling. I took on their emotions, causing myself pain and suffering that wasn't my own. I didn't know that I shouldn't do this. And merging my energy with others cheats them out of their own emotional experiences and leaves me confused about who I am. And one of the most valuable lessons I've learned on this journey is that when you free yourself from the pain and guilt you have caused other human beings, you stop holding them hostage. My healing comes from my willingness to see what I intuitively already know, to heal the fear of not being enough or lovable. I have to be still with myself and ride the emotions of my worries. I have to be willing to sit with what I know to be true. My worst fear is not getting enough love, which feels like abandonment. And each time I showed up to meditate, I went within and loved myself, creating a connection with my soul, strengthening my ability to hear the voice of my spirit. Now, I share this with you because this is important for us to know. This is what it's like to be an empath. This is what it's like to feel everyone else's emotions, and that we get lost in that entanglement with others, people's feelings, and we think it's all us. So part of my journey and part of my teaching is to teach you what energy is you, finding that sense of yourself, understanding your sense of self. Thank you for listening. And this is Denise Shad from Your Energy Awakening.